Hi, welcome to Wooden Track and Electric Trains. Episode 3, The Great Divide. Part 1, Long Train Running. Hello again, my name is Gary. This is part 1 of the third episode of Wooden Track and Electric Trains. The first two episodes of this series introduced a complex wooden track layout built on the surface of two folding tables pushed together. Each episode shows the progress of improvement to the layout. In both part 1 and part 2 of episode 3, we have video of new engines. We also see trains for the first time in the series. So we have engines pulling carriages behind as they travel the layout. In episode 3, part 1, I explained the latest changes to the layout and described the dynamic character of the layout. In part 1, we run trains on new routes and provide the route details for those following the episodes and watching the layout as it evolves. The sequel, episode 3, part 2, is also available for viewing, and you should watch it after seeing part 1. Part 2 has some very exciting video, different from what you have seen before. And in episode 3, part 2, we will ride on the front of a train engine. So, in all, I think there are many impressive short videos to look at. You may persevere through my pedantic descriptions in part 1, or leap ahead to part 2 for the exciting conclusion if you prefer. Good friends Niels and Albert told us, episode 3 is a quantum jump forward, especially if momentum spins you to episode 3, part 2. Anyway, those are my principles, and if you don't like them, well, I have others. You are looking at two short videos with engines traveling on the layout. The video on the left was shown in a previous episode, but the video on the right is new. The four circuits in both videos are very similar. However, you are probably noticing changes to track 4. There are also numerous less apparent changes to other tracks. There are new circuits available and configurations possible in the new version of the layout. The layout is more complex than it was in the previous episodes, yet I think it looks cleaner and perhaps more elegant than before. The changes include structural improvements to allow engines to pull carriages behind them. In previous episodes, you saw how we reconfigure routes by setting mechanical switches. In this latest version of the layout, there are 12 switches that impact routes, and also a 13th switch to enter a stockyard. Mathematically, there are 4,096 combinations of switch settings of impactful switches, but not all combinations are useful. I have been able to find 15 different patterns in the layout where the patterns contain between 1 and 4 circuits. My friend Jules once said, "Trains, like time and tide, stop for no one." I think this also applies to changes to my train layout. The arrows in the photo indicate locations of major changes to the layout. The yellow bridge crosses over where the steep overpass used to be located. There are other changes, but I will only describe a few more. These two photos show different views of track 9 in the north. Previously, track 9 existed as spur between track 2 in the south and track 4 in the north. Now, the northern connection to track 4 is replaced by other connections. But track 9 starts at track 2, switch 2.1 in the south. Track 9 can also be entered at a merge after switch 3.1 in the south. The track 9 spur continues north, passing through 2 level crosses. In the north, a new switch called 9.1 allows track 9 to be exited onto track 3. If that exit is not taken, a second switch, 9.2, allows track 9 to be exited onto track 1. If neither switch is set for an exit, the path of track 9 turns to the west and elevates to level 1. The track then turns south and elevates to level 2. At the south end of track 9, there is a descent to level 1 and a connection is made onto track 4. To summarize, track 9 has 2 incoming connections, both in the south, and 3 possible exits. 2 exits in the north, one to track 1 and the other to track 3. The south exit to track 4 is at the end of a long traverse from the north. The multiple entrances and exits make track 9 an important spur track because it makes possible several new circuit patterns. This is a new map that includes the new Circuit 12 and 2 previously existing circuits. Circuit 12 is a route that combines tracks 2, 4, and track 9. Track 9 is colored light blue on the map at the point where it leaves switch 2.1 in the south. Track 9 is shown in dark green in the spur section between switches 9.1 and 9.2. Track 9 continues after switch 9.2 as shown in light blue. This section ascends to level 1 in the north, then curves to south. After ascending to level 2, track 9 makes a traverse to the south, crossing over several other tracks. In the south, we see track 9 curve and descend to level 1. The map shows where track 9 merges into track 4 at the entrance to switch 4.1. In a few moments, we'll take a look at a video highlighting the new track 9 spur. The problem with my maps is that I need a map for each circuit pattern. The term pattern refers to a configuration with one or more circuits. I needed a way to document all the patterns that exist and the switch settings for the patterns. I made an Excel spreadsheet to itemize all switch setting combinations. The sheet has 8,192 total rows and 4,096 effective rows, one for each possible impactful combination. In the 13 switch columns, we see all the combinations where a 0 means a switch is set to straight, 1 means the switch is set to curve. I then identified switch setting combinations that resulted in a pattern. For each pattern, the switch setting found in the sheet match information in maps. On the sheet, we see 15 distinct patterns, which I identified and named. Not all the switch combinations are useful, and Excel filters hide rows where there's either no pattern or the combination is a redundant pattern. An example of a switch that is not useful in a route is switch 8.1 because it leads to the stockyard. Because it is never used, the number of impactful combinations is immediately reduced by half. But there are other examples where switches are not reached in a particular pattern. Redundant patterns exist when one or more switches are not useful in creating a route in a specific pattern. When a switch is not useful, there's no circuit for the switch, or there are multiple switch combinations that result in exactly the same pattern. We have combinatorial redundancy. The filter removes that redundancy. This is a video of trains on the new track 9. In this video, we are running trains, not just engines, as we have previously. It took a lot of work, but now the layout supports engines pulling carriages. There are a number of caveats to that statement, but nevertheless, this is a major improvement to the layout. In the video, the very fast HAP engine is pulling a carriage while running a circuit incorporating tracks 9 and track 3. Both the pattern number and the circuit are number 19. The other 3 circuits in the pattern are circuit 1, 2, and 4. Notice that circuit 19 does not use the northbound level 2 section of track 3, but instead circuit 19 takes a route on level 0 to rejoin circuit 3 in the north. The northbound track 3 at level 2 is used in the pattern 1, 2, 3, 4. Pattern 19 shares 3 circuits with pattern 1, 2, 3, 4. Circuit 19 acts as a substitute for circuit 3 in the new pattern 19. It would take too long to show a video of 15 patterns, but I'll show a few. I'll show a pattern that implements circuit 12. Circuit 12 combines tracks 2 and 4 using the spur track 9. As shown here, there are 2 configurations possible that use track 12. One configuration, pattern 1.3.12, maintains circuits 1 and 3 independently. The other configuration, pattern 5.12, combines tracks 1 and 3 to make circuit 5. Pattern 1.3.12 runs 3 engines, pattern 5.12 runs 2 engines. The Excel sheet shows the switches needed for each pattern. In this video, we're watching 3 trains, 2 with 1 carriage behind the engine, 1 with 2 carriages behind the engine. The red engine with the beige-red striped carriage behind it is on circuit 12. Circuit 12 incorporates tracks 2 and 4 with the entire length of track 9. The long track 9 spur starts in the southeast at switch 2.1. Currently, the red engine is on track 4. We'll cross a switch momentarily that takes it onto track 2. This is in the southwest corner. We'll round the curve and eventually arrive at switch 2.1. Now at switch 2.1, the route leaves circuit 2, becomes track 9, and heads northwest. After traversing 2 level crossings, the route reaches switch 9.1. Switch 9.1 is set to curve. This takes the route to switch 9.2. Switch 9.2 is also set to curve. The route curves west and ascends to level 1. Track 9 curves again, the route heads south and ascends to level 2. At level 2, track 9 crosses over other track and arrives at the southern edge. Then track 9 descends from level 2 to level 1 and merges onto track 4. In the video here, we see 4 trains pulling carriages behind. We're watching a new pattern and different rolling stock. We end episode 3, part 1, with a wooden track electric trains music video. Watch carefully near the end to see a close encounter at a level cross. Then go on to watch episode 3, part 2. Wooden track and electric trains episode 3, part 2 has 5 music videos. The part 2 videos include views from a camera mounted on an engine. I think you'll like part 2 as much as others have done. To paraphrase a review from one YouTube fan, "From the moment I found your video, I was convulsed with laughter. Someday I intend watching it." He went on to say something to the effect of, "I've had a perfectly wonderful evening watching videos, but this wasn't it." Thanks, Groucho. Thanks everyone who did actually watch.